US President Joe Biden's student loan forgiveness plan was put on hold due to an emergency stay order from a federal appeals court late on Friday. The order prevents the Biden administration from discharging any student debt under the program until the 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals reviews an appeal from 6 Republican-led states. The lawsuit from the 6 states, challenging the loan forgiveness program, was dismissed by a U.S. district judge on Thursday for lacking the necessary legal standing to pursue the case. Nebraska, Missouri, Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, and South Carolina said Biden's plan skirted congressional authority, threatened state tax revenues, and threatened profits from state entities that invest in or service loans. In response, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said the temporary order doesn't stop Americans from applying for the program or stop the administration from reviewing and preparing applications. Biden's debt forgiveness plan accesses up to $10,000 in student loans for borrowers making less than $125,000 a year or $250,000 for married couples. Lower-income college students who received Pell Grants will have up to $20,000 of their debt cancelled. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office expects the plan to cost roughly $400 billion.
China's Communist Party wrapped up its twice-a-decade Congress on Saturday, approving amendments to its constitution that cement President Xi Jinping's iron grip on the party. The event revealed a new Central Committee, missing 2 key officials that lacked close ties with the leader. And in an unusual moment during the closing ceremony, China's former President Hu Jintao, seated next to Xi, was escorted off the stage. It's not immediately clear why he was escorted out, who appeared to resist leaving as stewards led him away. Video of the incident, which is highly unusual given the meticulous stage management of such events, was widely shared on Twitter, but could not be found on China's heavily censored social media platforms. State media coverage of the ceremony also did not include the scene, which occurred just as journalists were entering the hall. Xi is poised to clinch a third 5-year leadership term as Party General Secretary, breaking with President and solidifying his place as China's most powerful ruler since Mao Zedong, the founding leader of the People's Republic. The party's new 205-member Central Committee was elected by delegates at the end of the week-long Congress. Voting was conducted by show of hands in Beijing's vast Great Hall of People. Much of the week's proceedings have taken place behind closed doors. The new Central Committee did not include outgoing Premier Li Keqiang or former Guangdong Party boss Wang Yang, who had been seen as a potential replacement as Premier. Analysts said their omissions were signs the powerful Politburo Standing Committee is likely to be stacked with people close to Xi. The party's new Central Committee will choose the next Politburo on Sunday, which is typically 25 people, and its new standing committee.
Tens of thousands of protesters in Germany took to the streets in response to the energy crisis and a new government package that many call an unfair distribution of funds. To combat rising energy and living prices, Germany's parliament on Friday approved a $195 billion rescue package that covers a one-time monthly gas bill for households and small and medium-sized businesses, as well as a cap on electricity prices. Protesters here say the package is unfair. Frank Wernick is the president of the United Services Trade. He says the government should give more support for people with lower and average incomes, adding that under the current plan, those with smaller incomes still carry a much higher burden. Driven by higher energy costs, German inflation in September hit its highest level in more than a quarter of a century. Protester Annette Gernandt-Gier joined the march in Dusseldorf.
I think that with all these people who now worry, barely making it through the day, barely making it through the night, we need to intervene immediately. And the government has already found many ways to help, but it is still too scattered. That is a pity.
Protesters are also calling on the government to speed up the transition away from fossil fuels. Around 24,000 people across 6 cities joined the protest, according to Greenpeace. Police estimate 1,800 protesters gathered in Berlin.
Russia's anti-doping agency says it won't release investigation results into the doping scandal surrounding Olympic figure skater Kamila Valieva. It says the move was made in order to protect the interests of the figure skater. The Russian agency says it strictly followed principles of international and Russian anti-doping standards, but also considered the facts and circumstances of the case before deciding not to reveal details of it and the final resolution of the matter. In 2021, Valieva, who was then 15 years old, tested positive for a banned heart medication at the Russian National Championships. The teenage figure skater was allowed to compete in the single event, and months later in the Beijing Winter Olympics, where she won gold for her team. Valieva claimed in her defense the positive test result was allegedly because of a mix-up with her grandfather's heart medication.